Good morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookie Monsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, September the 4th, and we are here to look at the new releases in romance that are being set free this week. Every day of the week, we look at a different genre. On Mondays, we look at cozy mysteries. Tuesdays, we look at mysteries and thrillers. Wednesdays is romance. Thursdays is fantasy and science fiction. And on Fridays is Freeform Friday. We look at whatever I want to look at, which is sometimes the things in other genres that we didn't get to, or if we just have leftovers from the week. You never know what's going to be there. Quick announcements. I don't have official sprints tonight. I'm contemplating doing some extra ones tonight, long play ones. I really need to be working on this wedding crochet bedspread. So it would be long play ones, very little chatting. So I might just spontaneously hop on. I might not. But officially, I do not have any tonight. Let's take a look at romance. First up, Low Country Lost by T.I. Lowe. Sometimes what haunts you most is wondering what could have been. Ava Lee Elvis prides herself with being able to fix just about anything except her past. Unable to put the puzzle of her life together, she pours heart and soul into making neglected places whole again. As the owner of Low Country Lost, Ava Lee spends her days in hot pink Carhartt overalls and a tool belt reclaiming low country properties. Making them beautiful again releases the deep sigh that soothes the hurt she holds. Ava Lee's latest project takes her to tiny Somewhere, South Carolina, a long abandoned town. She ignores its ghostly folklore but can't miss the shock of hearing the familiar Irish brogue that materializes on the job site, the voice of the man she never wanted to see again. Rowan Murray is a structural engineer hired by investors to oversee the redevelopment of the quaint downtown Ava Lee is bringing back to life. Once upon a time, he was also the man who knew Ava Lee better than anyone else, or so he thought. 6 years ago, neither of them was prepared for the tragedy that they would face together, or what would happen in its wake. But as they worked together to complete the rehabbing of Somewhere, their broken pieces and the pain that nearly consumed them begin to lose its grip, and both begin to wonder if it's not too late for a restoration of their own. A bit of Southern love. Good morning, Jen. I'm working today but struggling, so hoping some of your positivity will help this morning. Well, there's always something positive about books, and this is love. So there's a side of snark. Always. Sorry. No One Does It Like You by Katie Shepherd. When's the best time to tell your ex that you want them back? Probably never. Probably not in the middle of a Category 3 hurricane. That would be one of them, too. But when Broadway actor Tom Wojcicki is about to dive into the floodwaters to rescue his co-lead, he calls the ex-wife he hasn't seen in 10 years to swear he still loves her and asks for a chance to make things right. 2 months later, Rose Kelly is tired of seeing pictures of her ex-husband Tom rescuing Hollywood darling Boyd Kelliger. Not that she's jealous. Of course she's not. She's far too busy taking care of her elderly aunt and worrying about the storm damage to the family B&B on Martha's Vineyard to miss the love of her life. But after belatedly hearing Tom's voicemail, Rosie asks him to follow through on his promises for once by helping her fix the inn. Thinking this is the perfect way to win her back, Tom agrees. No, it's not. When you're rehabbing, fixing a place, no, that's when it gets really tense. When they get there, things are less than ideal. Told you. Rosie expected the inn to be in better shape. She expected it to have more beds, and she expected more help from her actual family, not from Tom and the rest of his Broadway cast. But well, they're just looking for a place to stay, honey. But Rosie begins to wonder if maybe the life she expected isn't the one she really wants. If she and Tom can repair the inn together, can they possibly repair the damage to the relationship they both thought was long gone? And I know this about theater people because I used to be in theater. Make them earn their stay. Oh, and by the way, there's a romance. uh, A Good Indian Girl by Mansi Shah. Life's more fun when you ditch the recipe. Jody is the perfect Indian American daughter. She stayed out of trouble, looked after her younger sisters, and married a man her parents approved of. So when her husband, Ashok, pushes her to quit her dream job as head chef to focus on conceiving, she obliges. What, are they going to do it 24/7? Knowing this will please her parents, only for Ashok to leave her when she cannot carry to term. Now unemployed, childless, and divorced, a disgrace to her Gujarati family, Jody books a ticket to Tuscany for the summer to visit her best friend and fellow social outcast, Karishma. Carbs, Chianti, and La Bella Vita slowly restore Jody's confidence, inspiring her to experiment with Indian-Italian fusion recipes. But when she unexpectedly goes viral for her impromptu cooking vlogs and candid vent sessions, her gossiping aunties have a field day. But when a shocking reveal comes to light, Jody must choose between family acceptance, a fulfilling career, and even motherhood, all before the summer ends. So somewhere in there's a guy. They don't talk about him, but somewhere there's a guy. And not the ex. Good morning, Anita. You Belong to Me. Now, that doesn't sound creepy at all. Now, I've always said Mary, but I think I've heard it's pronounced differently. McFarlane. Second in the Edie Thompson series. And I have read this author before and I've liked it. She found the one, but when everyone wants him, can she keep him? Edie found true love, and on Christmas Day, he's knocking at her door. Elliot Owen is handsome, charming, and basically Hollywood royalty, and he insists madly in love with Edie Thompson, an ordinary citizen with tomato soup stains on her coat. It's going to be complicated. Edie will have to learn how to live in the limelight, but they're just too good together not to try. Edie discovers it's not easy when the press is the third person in your relationship, or when stories start leaking that force you to mistrust the motives of those around you. It's tricky when you're separated by an ocean and gorgeous co-stars and charismatic new colleagues are closer by. It's harder still when your past is raked up by envious people determined to destroy your present. Edie already knows how it feels to be infamous. Now she's going to find out what it's like to be famous. Are she and Elliot a fairy tale or a cautionary fable about getting what you wish for? Doesn't say how he came knocking on her door madly in love. End of row one, on to row two. After the Red Carpet by Patricia Levy. I think this is like a sequel. After legendary Hollywood star Finn Forrester proposed to philosopher Ella Sinclair on the red carpet at the Cannes Film Festival, the couple captivated the press and public with their real-life fairy tale. Now they vow to prioritize their romance and live an adventure of their own making. Ella moves into Finn's Beverly Hills mansion and must adjust to his world. Finn, secretly afraid of losing Ella, is determined to make everything perfect for his betrothed. Meanwhile, Ella wants nothing more than to retain her own identity as they build their new life together. All the while, she is writing a philosophical treatise on love, exploring the question, when we love so deeply, where do we end and where does the other begin? Okay. Young love. This is a follow-up to the location shoot. Will Ella and Finn finally live the life they've dreamed of? See how their epic romance unfolds under the red carpet. After the red carpet, under it. Oh my. Maybe that's why you don't necessarily read that kind of romance when you're older, because you know it's a day in, day out. It's not a fairy tale every day. And if you have that expectation, that's not what you should be walking into a marriage with. I'm just saying. Meddling with Mistletoe. You know, normally this would be a book that they didn't have faces, but they do have faces. This is by Liz Johnson. Whitney Garrett is preparing to enter culinary school in the spring, but first she has to sell enough homemade pies at the local Christmas markets to pay her tuition. That's a lot of pie. When her oven breaks, Whitney asks Marie Sloan, proprietor of the Red Door Inn, if she can use the inn's kitchen to keep up with her orders. Marie agrees with a catch. Whitney has to watch the three Sloan children and cook breakfasts for the Red Door in return. The inn is busy with holiday guests, including Aretha Franklin Sloan's perpetually single nephew, Daniel, and Ruby, a businesswoman in town to purchase Aretha's antique store. Intent on making a Christmas match for the two, Aretha enlists Whitney's help in her schemes. But the deeper Whitney gets, the more she realizes that Ruby is definitely not the right woman for Daniel, and the more she thinks that she just might be his perfect match. Cuddle up with some warm holiday cheer, blah, blah, blah. But it's September. Oh, I know, you can read it anytime, probably closer to the holidays. Christmas at Sugar Plum Manor by Rosanna M. White. It's a pretty cover. Oops. The Nutcracker and Edwardian era England combine. As the beloved stepdaughter of the Earl of Castleton, Lady Maria Lyons cherishes her home at Plumford Manor, but her idyllic world will be threatened when the estate passes to Cyril Lightbourne, a childhood friend she hasn't seen or heard from in years. Once Maria dreamed their friendship would kindle into something more, but that was before she heard Cyril was courting the cruel-hearted Lady Pearl. Now Maria is willing to welcome him as a friend and pray he will be the heir her stepfather needs, but she'll keep her heart locked safely away from anyone with such poor taste. Cyril Lightbourne has long avoided returning to Plumford Manor, yet he reluctantly arrives in time for Christmas. When his friendship with Lady Maria reignites, he finds himself caught between his affection for her and her family's misunderstanding of his attachment to Lady Pearl. Then more trouble arrives in the form of a Danish lord on a mission to win Maria's hand by Christmas. Will the magic of the holiday season help lead to the discovery of true love, or will duty to country leave all longing for what could have been? End of row 2. Did we do this one? Did I jump one? Yeah, I missed one. Zootolol, we have missed one. The Christmas Tree Farm by Melody Carlson. When Madison, the cover just drew me over there. When Madison McDowell returns from several years teaching overseas, she has high hopes of picking up where she left off at her family's Christmas tree farm in Oregon. But between damage from a recent wildfire and the neglect due to her sister Addie's unwillingness to invest, the farm is in sad shape. In fact, Addie is intent on selling the property. And to top it off, her former high school flame, the now widowed Gavin Thompson, has plans to break Madison's heart again by turning his neighboring property into a dusty, noisy dirt bike track for his daughter. With the odds stacked against her, Madison decides there's only one thing to do: double down on her dreams. It will take a ton of hard work and some help from an unlikely ally to save the farm she so dearly leaves. $10, it's the daughter she so dearly loves, but it may take a miracle to restore her relationship with her sister. I like that cover too. Again, we're with Christmas. Right now, we're at the end of that row. On to the next row. So True a Love by Joanna Barker. London, 1803. As the daughter of renowned actress, Verity Travers is a privileged lady of high society. Not they weren't back then. And the last woman one would suspect as having worked as a private investigator. But she has hung up that dangerous hat to live the uninspiring life of a gentlewoman. However, when she and her dearest friend become victims of an armed robbery, Verity finds herself swept back into the clandestine world of mystery and crime as she seeks to bring the thief to justice. There's just one complication: the persistent and dashingly handsome Bow Street runner Nathaniel Denning, who always seems to cross her path. Verity is confident she could accomplish her work quickly if only Nathaniel would stay out of her way. Focusing on the task at hand becomes more and more difficult as his keen mind, quick wit, and determination to keep her out of trouble muddle her progress and her heart. When the two rival investigators learn they are both pursuing the same cunning criminal, they must figure out how to navigate the delicate dance of cooperation amid a backdrop of increasing peril and an irresistible passion that sets their hearts ablaze. The Cloverton Charade by Sarah E. Ladd, third in the House of Yorkshire series. Olivia Brannan knows her goals are unconventional. As a young woman in Regency England, her best bet, according to society, is to marry well and secure a steady future for herself. But Olivia has never been interested in convention. She prefers to follow in her deceased father's footsteps and journey to foreign lands in search of rare and valuable antiquities. Eager to make a name for herself in the antiquities world, Olivia jumps at an invitation to join a wealthy widow at the famed Cloverton Hall to evaluate her private antiquities collection. Secrecy of the task is vital, and in order to conceal her efforts, Olivia must pretend to be a house party guest to avoid suspicion and to explain her presence. Lucas Avery, whose father was a rival of Olivia's father, has also arrived at the Cloverton Hall house party, hired by the new master of Cloverton Hall, the widow's nephew, to appraise the renowned Cloverton Hall collection. When Lucas discovers Olivia masquerading as a party guest while covertly conducting her own assessment, he's keen to renew the family rivalry. But as their paths frequently cross, he's unprepared for the effect the refreshingly honest and beautiful Olivia has on him. Yet all is not as it seems. Both Olivia and Lucas are shocked by the astonishing discovery of counterfeit pieces, and when the unexpected occurs, everyone is a suspect. And Olivia and Lucas both must choose whom they will trust. Only the hidden treasure will allow Louisa and her sister to gain their freedom. Primetime Romance by Kate Robb. Newly divorced on the eve of her 30th birthday, Bryn is sick of heartbreak. She thought she had found her happy ending, but now she's living with a roommate, Josh, to afford her mortgage, and she's trying to adjust to her new single life. At least she's got Carson's Cove to binge, her beloved 2000s teenage soap. The show ended unexpectedly on a cliffhanger after 5 seasons, and the two main characters, Sloane and Spencer, never got to declare their love for each other. The show is still perfect in Bryn's eyes. Despite all the drama that goes down, things always have a way of working out in Carson's Cove, unlike her own life. So when a birthday cake surprisingly shows up on her and Josh's doorstep, makes a wish for the one thing she's always wanted but has failed to achieve herself, a happily ever after. The next morning, she doesn't wake up in her apartment. She's in Carson's Cove, and Josh is there too. Everyone seems to know them, except they're not Bryn and Josh. They're Sloane, the sweetheart of Carson's Cove, and Fletch, the town's bad boy. And to get home, they have to make Bryn's wish come true by ensuring Sloane and Spencer, the hometown heartthrob, end up together at last. But as they spend more time together, Bryn and Josh realize that Carson's Cove might not be as perfect as seen on television. Really? Especially when they start developing feelings for each other in a plot twist no one has expected. Well, why else was he there? He wasn't along just to make her dreams come true. Will they stick to the script, or will love change the story forever? And I apologize, I didn't click on the tab. There it is. Back again. The Book Swap by Tessa Bickers. No, she doesn't. She's just a little cranky. Give her a Snickers. Still reeling from a recent tragedy, Erin Connolly knows she needs to start living but has no idea how. When she accidentally donates her favorite book, a heavily annotated copy of To Kill a Mockingbird containing a memento she can't be without, to a local little community library, she's devastated. But then the book turns up a week later, back in the library with fresh notes in the margins, along with an invitation in a copy of Great Expectations to meet her newfound pen pal. A life-changing conversation written only in the margins of beloved classic books begins between Erin and her mystery man. Following each other through the pages of their favorite novels as the book exchange continues, they both begin to open up, falling into a friendship and maybe something more. But Erin and her pen pal have a shared history that neither of them has guessed. Faced with painful reminders of the past and the one person she swore never to forgive, Erin finds herself at a crossroads, one that could change her life forever. The following classics can be found in this book: To Kill a Mockingbird, Great Expectations, Wuthering Heights, Mansfield Park, The Great Gatsby, Middlemarch, Beloved, On the Road, and The Bell Jar. Well, that was very nice of them. Elsie Silver has a new one. Wild Eyes. As a chart-topping country singer with a recent streak of bad press, it's hard for Skylar Stone to find peace. But she finds it in Rose Hill, with a little boy and a little girl who steal her heart just as thoroughly as their dad, Weston Belmont. The man is a shameless flirt. He oozes confidence and masculinity in a way that's downright distracting, and in bed, he's addictive. Everything with him is wild and impulsive, and Skylar is desperate to regain some control. But no one has supported her like Wes does, and no one has ever made her feel as loved as he does either. So while Skylar's brain says settling down with a small town horse trainer is impossible, her heart says she's right where she belongs. Still, her life as a celebrity haunts her. It has the power to pull she and West apart. She can see in his eyes that he wants her to stay, and she wants that too. But she knows better than anyone that you don't always get what you want. To quote the Rolling Stones. Caribbean Crush by R.S. Gray. Casey Hughes is a struggling travel journalist desperate for a big break when she lands the assignment of a lifetime: hop on board Aurelia for its maiden voyage through paradise. While she'll bask in the luxury cruise ship's fine dining and complimentary spa treatments, her real mission is to snag an exclusive interview with Philip Woodmont. Casey and the elusive shipping heir have history. Once they were nothing short of brutal enemies. Though the former brace-faced teen is now a suited-up CEO with devastating good looks, he makes it clear to Casey that he has no interest in forgetting their past. The volatile grudge between them is as explosive as ever. More than once, Casey is tempted to toss Philip overboard, but for her work, she'll have to swallow her pride. If it's an apology he's after, she'll serve it up on a silver platter. If he wants her to walk the plank, she'll salute with an "Aye, aye, Captain." Casey can't let him provoke her. She needs this interview. So if Philip wants to play dirty, Casey will just have to play dirtier. And we'll do this last one. Played by Naima Simone. Being a firefighter isn't easy, especially for a Black woman. Working with family helps a little, but when somebody from your company doesn't come back from a call, it's brutal. As in, how am I supposed to go on brutal? And one death took me to a really dark place. A year later, I'm at the Pirates hockey training facility. Just another day on the job until I find a charred journal. I look inside for the owner's name, but the words on the page punch me in the gut. It's like reading my own thoughts, reliving my own pain. The journal belongs to Solomon Young, left-winger for the Pirates, a father and widower. When I return it, I'm racked with guilt for the invasion of privacy. The look Solomon gives me is cold as ice. But damn if that man isn't hot as hell. Now he's stuck in my brain, and fate seems intent on making us face off. I will never understand how hockey became a romance trope, trend. Oh, they did it to me again. Let's go back here. I like to end on the things I like to end on. All right, we'll go that way. All right. Morning, Storm. How you doing? All right. Well, those are the romance that, for the most part, are being released this week. It's possible I miss things, but I do try to scour the websites. Tomorrow we'll be looking at fantasy and science fiction. I technically don't have any sprints tonight, but I'm contemplating doing some impromptu ones with very little chatting. I'll be honest, when I do sprints, I want to sprint. I want to read. I want to work on things. So I might do long play sprints this evening because I really, really, really have to be crocheting on this bedspread, and being on sprints keeps me accountable. So we'll see. I might not. If you want to hit a notification bell somehow. In the meantime, thank you guys very much. I will be reposting this. So if you're not able to get up and watch it, you can watch it in its entirety later. Hope you have a very good Wednesday. Read good books. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.